This will be the most detailed and comprehensive video on YouTube that explains how we astronomers create stunning images out of raw data that looks like this and this. Flat, grayscale, and frankly, pretty boring. Today, I'm going to show you the real way professional astronomers turn raw data into breathtaking images that you see online. And here's the best part, this isn't just for professionals. All JWST data becomes publicly available after just 12 months, meaning anyone with internet access can make discoveries from the most powerful telescope that has been ever built by mankind. In this video, I'll take you behind the scenes of my actual workflow processing a real James Webb Space Telescope data from the magnificent Carina Nebula, which is a star-forming region located 7,600 light years away in the constellation of Carina. What makes this tutorial special is that I'm not only showing you a simplified version, this is the exact Python code that professional astronomers, including myself, use to analyze real telescope data. I personally have spent many hours putting this tutorial together for all of you to enjoy. And stick around till the end, because you'll not only see the final image come together, but I will show you how you can try this yourself with other data sets and make equally beautiful, stunning images. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In case you forgot, I am Mayukh, an astronomy PhD candidate, and today we are going to do something really special. Instead of just talking about beautiful space images, we are going to create one together from scratch with real James Webb Space Telescope data that is available for everyone to grab online. In this video, just like we will learn how to make beautiful images out of raw telescope data, I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce my first product, GiveTheStars.com. This is a custom star chart that shows the sky the exact time you choose it for, including the Milky Way galaxy, constellations, stars, planets, and much more, including the phase of the moon. Isn't that beautiful? You could give this to your loved ones at their birthdays, anniversaries, any special date that you want to frame and keep it with you. This is extremely easy to make. All you have to do is just visit GiveTheStars.com. This is my first ever product that I've made with a lot of love and passion. And in any case, if you wanted to support this channel or just wanted to give something to your loved ones, I would really appreciate you visiting GiveTheStars.com and give this a look. Did you know that the James Webb Space Telescope, which captures these beautiful images, is located 1.5 million kilometers away from Earth? At this location, it is called the second Lagrange point, or L2. Okay, before we jump into the code, let's understand what we are working with. The James Webb Space Telescope does not take image like your smartphone does. In fact, its primary mirror, which is 6.5 meters or 21 feet in diameter, is comprised of 18 hexagonal gold-plated beryllium segments that work together as a single collecting surface to collect all the light that's coming from distant galaxies. JWST carries 4 main scientific instruments, each capturing different wavelengths of infrared light. The data that we will be working today comes from NIRCam, or near infrared camera, and MIRI, the mid-infrared instruments. NIRCam is so sensitive that it could detect the heat of a bumblebee at a distance close to the moon, while MIRI can see through the cosmic dust that blocks the visible light completely. The data collected by these instruments are stored in FITS file, which is called Flexible Image Transport System format. I have made a detailed video on how to process FITS file, and the link for that should be down in the description and flashing right up in the I button there. In case you don't have an idea, I highly recommend you to watch that video to get a clear idea as to how to work with FITS file in Python. Here's the thing, what many people don't realize is that the telescope actually captures separate images through different filters, each seeing a slightly different color of infrared light. JWST spent approximately 2 hours capturing the data, but the images reveal details that remain hidden for millions of years, showing the beautiful stellar nurseries that have been forming in this particular area. Okay, with all that out of the way, let us take a look at the Jupyter notebook where I'll show you how we can access and examine these files.
Alright, so in order to access the data, you just need to come to Space Telescope's archival website, which is MAST, and then on the top of the screen you will see the search bar. So just punch in the name of the coordinate that you want to go to. For us it's NGC 3324, and then you can and then on the right side of your screen you should see the field that you're exactly searching for, and it'll be populated with variety of telescopes that have actually pointed and mapped that region. So we will just ignore that for now, and to the left hand side of the screen we'll see all the different attributes. So we need to filter what we want to see right now. So for us it's the data from the JWST that we want to download for this tutorial. So we'll hit show more and then select JWST, and that should filter out everything, leaving only the region of the cosmic cliff from the Carina Nebula that JWST image is nicely contained within that orange part. And then all we have to do is to select the data of the different filter types that we want to download for this tutorial and download it. Again, the instruction and the link to everything shown here will be down in the description, so feel free to look at it. So all you have to do is to select that and hit the save button.
So the basic gist for this is, here I've just created a data structure to handle the different information about the JWST filters. Each filter is sensitive to a very specific wavelength of infrared light. This is crucial because different wavelengths reveal different features in our nebula. For our Carina Nebula, we'll be looking with several filters including the F090, F200, F335, F444 and F470. Let me break down what each of this filter actually reveals in the cosmos. F90 or 0.9 microns. This near-infrared filter captures the light closest to what the human eyes can approximately see. It reveals the hottest stars with surface temperatures around 30,000 degrees Celsius. Along with scattered starlight reflecting off the dust particles, we assign this filter blue colors. We are highlighting the youngest, most energetic stars in the region, F200 or 2.0 microns. This medium near-infrared filter penetrates the dust cloud much better than visible light. It shows us the stars that might be hidden behind dust lanes with temperatures around 15,000 degrees Celsius. We typically assign this filter cyan or blue-green color. F335 or 3.35 micron. This is fascinating because it specifically targets polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons or PAHs. These are complex organic molecules that are abundant throughout the universe. These molecules are actually essential building blocks for life, similar to molecules that are found in petroleum and coal on Earth. We usually assign this greenish yellow color to this filter. Then we have the F444W. 4.44 microns. At this wavelength, we are seeing thermal emission from warm dust with temperatures around 400 degrees Celsius. So as you can see, we are kind of probing down colder and colder temperature with the different kind of filters that are available. This filter reveals the intricate structures of the nebula gas clouds and the dust lanes that are being sculpted by stellar radiation. So as the stars radiate, they kind of blow away the dust, creating the beautiful structures as you can see in the image. We typically assign this yellow or light orange colors. Last but not the least, F470, which is the 4.7 micron filter. This narrow band filter specifically isolates emission from carbon monoxide molecules and hydrogen gas that has been ionized by high energy radiation from newborn stars. It shows us exactly where stars are actively forming and heating their surrounding gas. We assign this deep orange or red colors to highlight these star formation regions. Each filter name actually encodes its property. The letter F indicates it's a filter, the number represents the central wavelength, and the final letter indicates whether it's wide for W, medium for M, or narrow for N, bandwidth. Now, let's dive into how astronomers actually transform raw telescope data into what you see in those breathtaking press releases. The code we're exploring today represents decades of refinement in astronomical image processing. Did you know that the raw data from James Webb needs to undergo over 300 processing steps before it's ready for scientific analysis. To summarize what we just saw, this class is the workhorse of our pipeline. FITS, our Flexible Image Transport System, is the standard format used by astronomers worldwide. Each FITS file contains both image data and detailed metadata about the observation. The header section of a FITS file contains crucial information regarding the exposure time, the target coordinates, the instrument configuration, and even the temperatures of the detector at the time of observations. JWST's detectors operate at a frigid minus 266 degrees Celsius. It's just a few degrees above absolute zero. Here are the key steps that we will perform. Number 1, load the raw FITS file from different filters. Calibrate and clean the data, removing the artifacts such as cosmic rays and detector anomalies. Align all images to a common reference frame using astrometric information. Adjust the contrast to bring out the details while preserving the scientific validity. Assign colors to each filters based on the physical processes they reveal. And last but not the least, combine these images into one final composite. Okay, enough talking. Let me demonstrate the contrast adjustments, which are really crucial. Okay, so this step is particularly important. Astronomical data has enormous amount of dynamic range, often spanning 16 to 32 bits of intensity values. The human eye can only distinguish a fraction of these intensity levels. Without these adjustments, most of the interesting details would be either too dim to see or completely washed out. The percentile values that I've chosen in this example is from 15th percentile to 99.85 percentile. This preserves the brightest features without letting them dominate the image, while bringing the dimmer structures to better visibility. The Carina Nebula has an incredible brightness range. The brightest stars are literally trillions of times more luminous than the dimmest dust structures that we can detect. So all the different variations you're seeing in this image are scales that spans several orders of magnitude in brightness from one side to the other. Our eyes simply cannot handle that kind of naturally. We then apply adaptive histogram equalizations like these, which enhances local contrast in different regions of the image independently, ensuring details are visible throughout. This technique is similar to HDR, high dynamic range photography, but specialized for scientific data. You must have seen how just clicking a button on your smartphone enables the HDR mode and your pictures just look, well, a lot contrasty. Here in this case, we are ensuring that both the bright regions and the dimmer regions are visible throughout the nebula. Okay, now one of the most challenging aspects of creating this composite images is that JWST doesn't capture all filters simultaneously or within the same camera. We need to ensure that all images are precisely aligned down to the individual pixels. And this is not a trivial task. However, accurate alignment is absolutely critical. We are working with structures spanning trillions of kilometers, but need precision down to the level of individual pixels. The Carina Nebula's famous cosmic eclipse we are processing spans about 7 light years in height. That's approximately 67 trillion kilometers or 41 trillion miles. Yet, we need to align features with sub-pixel precision. This code uses WCS, or World Coordinate System. This is a standardized way astronomers map pixels in an image to actual coordinates in the sky. It's similar to how GPS coordinates work on Earth. For the Carina Nebula images, each filter might have been captured at slightly different times and telescope orientation, meaning that the raw images do not perfectly overlap if you try to do them by itself. This reprojection ensures that a specific feature, like the particular young star or gas filament, appears in exactly the same pixel location across all filtered images. Okay, now with all that tough work out of the way, how do we decide what colors to assign to this invisible wavelengths of light? We typically follow conventions where shorter wavelengths get assigned to bluer colors and longer wavelengths get assigned to redder colors, mimicking how our own eyes perceive the light. But there's both science and art in this process. The colors we assign aren't just arbitrary, they follow a specific physical process. In our Carina Nebula image, we are mapping wavelengths to several specific physical processes, just like we discussed before. Okay, now when we combine those layers, we get a comprehensive view of the star formation processes occurring in the cosmic landscape. What appears as a static image is actually a dynamic, violent process of creation. The cliff-like structures are being eroded at the rate of several Earth masses per year. For the Carina Nebula, we blend 5 different filtered images, each containing unique information about the physical conditions in different regions. The result is not just visually spectacular, but scientifically meaningful and shows the complete story of star formation in one single image. And this is not a joke. Here you go, the final beautiful result that you and I created together. Okay, and there you have it. From raw telescope data, this breathtaking cosmic landscape. The cosmic cliffs of the Carina Nebula NGC 3324 revealed through the infrared eyes of the James Webb Space Telescope. I hope this gives you a new appreciation for incredible science and artistry that goes behind every astronomical image you see. If you're interested in trying this yourself, follow the link down below in the description and you will get a detailed instruction on how to download this image. I've already kind of talked about this. For those of you wondering if this is just for professional astronomers, absolutely not. This tool we use today, Python, AstroPy, and the image processing libraries are freely available and all the data is public. Remember, every stunning web image online, you now know the real story behind it. If you enjoyed what you see, please hit the subscribe button down below for more such content and let me know in your comment what cosmic object you'd like to process next. Until next time, keep looking up and I will catch you guys in the next one really soon.